Buying a house is a big accomplishment, so you want to make sure that everything is just right before you buy it, ideally. That's why it's important you do your due diligence beforehand. Here to tell us more about this and make sure you are ticking all the boxes is Property Apprentice co-founder Debbie Roberts. Debbie, lovely to see your smiling face as always.
Thank you very much.
Tell us what the big checks we should make and do and make sure we've done before we buy are.
Excellent. So first of all, level 4 throws a whole spanner in the works, doesn't it? If you've already got a property under contract, then there are a few things that you need to be aware of. So first of all, you're not going to be able to settle on a property if we're under level 4 unless you don't have to move into that property. So for example, if it's a rental property and the tenants are staying on, you can still settle under those circumstances. Or if you're buying a holiday home, for example, and you don't have to move into it, then that's okay. In all other situations, if you've completed all of your due diligence and you're just waiting to settle, make sure that you talk to your lawyer because they can negotiate an extension because you won't be able to settle under level 4 if you need to move. Okay, so that's the first thing. If you're doing your due diligence during level 4, that also is quite difficult because a lot of things you won't be able to do. So again, talk to your lawyer about getting an extension for that period. So some of the things that you need to do as part of your due diligence before you go unconditional on a contract, you want to check the council file. Now you can obviously still do that under level 4, so that's okay. Get a LIM report. You would want to get a building inspection. That's going to be difficult under level 4. So, that won't be able to happen until level 3. Same with registered valuations. You want to confirm your finance is unconditional for that specific property. Now, just remember, if you've got a pre-approval for lending, it doesn't mean that you're approved for any property. So you have to make sure you get finance confirmed for that specific property that you're looking at. Drug tests, make sure that it's not contaminated with methamphetamine. And if it is, make sure that you've got the capacity to decontaminate it if required. Healthy homes, if it's going to be a rental property, see how far away it is from being compliant there. There's quite a few things that you've got to go through, to make sure you're not buying a lemon. If it's a rental property, you'll need to get a rental appraisal to confirm your finance. Quotes for any repairs that might need to be done. The list goes on, and obviously get your lawyer to do a title search as well to make sure that there's nothing on the property title that would affect your ability or your desire to settle that property too.
I was made aware of something that I hadn't actually thought of yesterday, and I was going past a house which was being heavily renovated or effectively knocked down, and I was thinking you actually need to do your due diligence on a knockdown as well. Because you can't just go, it's a knockdown, I'll knock it down, because there might be asbestos, there could be drains that restrict what you can and can't do. So don't just think knocking down a property doesn't mean you've got to do due diligence as well.
No, you've got to do due diligence on land. If you're buying a piece of land and you're planning on building on it, you need to do your due diligence on that to make sure you can actually build what you want to build on it. So yeah, there's so many different layers and things that you need to double check. Like if you're buying a new build, you've got to do due diligence on the developer to make sure that they're not going to go bust halfway through the build. So there's layers upon layers upon layers. And the beauty of being in level 4 this time around is that we've all been through level 4 before. So your lawyers are familiar with how to do extensions. This time around, we're not scrambling trying to figure out how on earth to settle properties or do due diligence during a pandemic because we've been there before. Okay, so.
Yeah, no, I absolutely. Thank goodness. It's not good that we've been in lockdowns before, but we certainly learned a thing or two last time, didn't we? Debbie, we have to leave it there, but thank you so much for coming on, as always, with all of your tips for getting through your long list of to-dos before you buy that property, as Debbie Roberts from Property Apprentice.